by Councilwoman Jamita Swearingen.
Thank you. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we're so grateful that you've allowed us this opportunity to gather. You're God, and you're God all by yourself. You're the true and you're the living God, and that's why we come to you. Now, Father, we ask that you allow us this day to commit all of our plans to you, to cast all of our cares upon you because we know you care for us. Father, all of our works we entrust to you right now. We ask you to give us a mind that will be able to assess and judge accurately today the many challenges that will come before us. We ask you for eyes that will see visionarily the way you see. We ask you to bless the skillfulness of our hands, that we can perform the work that will bring us success. God, at the end of all that we do, we covenant that we will give you the glory for it. In the mighty name, in the matchless name, in the majestic name of Jesus, we do pray. We praise you and we thank you. And all in agreement say amen. Amen. And amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Councilwoman Swearingen.
Greetings. Be it hereby known that Pastor Dr. Maurice Johnson, in recognition of a life of exemplary qualities, outstanding service to the city, meritorious involvement in humanitarian affairs, and demonstrated concern for governmental processes, has been appointed Chaplain of the Day of the Memphis City Council, and is hereby entitled to all of the honors, rights, privileges, and prerogatives appertaining to the office and to the display of this certificate, given under this seal, the 24th day of April, 2018, signed by our chairman, Berlin Boyd, and Councilwoman Jamita Swearingen. We certainly appreciate you so much for coming and blessing us during the beginning of our meeting. I'd like to please give you a certificate as well as a token of our appreciation. Take a picture.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Madam Comptroller, please call the roll.
Council members Brown, Covette, Conrad, Ford, Fully Love, Hedgepeth, Jones, Morgan, Morrison, Robinson, Spinoza, Swearingen, Chairman Boyd.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. And before we get started, I wanted to take a quick moment of silence for our colleague, Councilman Morrison, and his daughter. She is currently in some bad conditions, but we definitely want to take a moment of silence for Councilman Morrison's daughter. Thank you. Approval of our previous meeting minutes. Councilman Ford.
Mr. Chair, I found the minutes completely in order, but I think there's some modifications or some removals or something like that, so I'd like to yield to Councilman Conrad regarding that.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Conrad, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just as we talked about at our last meeting, I just want to remove item 5 from the minutes, and those would be, if this passes or approve that objection, would be held until the first meeting in June, which is June 5th, for the purpose of finalizing the ordinance around landmarks and historic districts that passed in Councilman Colvette's committee this morning.
All right, so we have item number 5 being pulled from the minutes, held until June 1st. I do have a question. Hopefully we could do this without objection. Councilman Ford.
That's where I'm going with this. June the 5th, if everything goes right, will be the same day that we would pass our full budget. So would you want that to be on the same day, Mr. Conrad?
Can we keep it there now? My goal is to build consensus and not have it be an easy vote that day with all the work that'll happen between now and that time. And if we need to kick it 2 more weeks because we don't have that, we can address it then. Would that be okay?
Without objection.
Okay, seeing no objection to that, we will go ahead and cast your votes for our previous meeting minutes as amended.
I need a second, please.
It's been moved by Councilman Ford, seconded by Councilman Hedgepeth. Madam Comptroller, please show the vote.
Conrad, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen abstained. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes.
Mr. Colvett as well, sir.
Noted. All right, Councilman Conrad.
Just one thing for the record, too. I think we may have some folks from the Cooper Young area here, but the historic district is currently being interpreted by OPD as it is in effect. So currently, until we approve our minutes, or if hopefully we will approve them and make that final. But from now until that time, it is being governed as a historic district. So Cooper Young is not disadvantaged in that way while we hopefully work through this ordinance. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right, again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you guys to our regular council meeting. If you guys care to speak on any item, please come up and see our Sergeant at Arms. Please request a card. Please write legibly so I can read it. Please state your name and address for the record. After you state your name and address for the record, we will give you 2 minutes to speak. Items that are held and dropped from this agenda, we have items number 3 will be held until May 8th. Items number 22 and 23 will be held till May 22nd. Those are the only items that we have held. So again, items 3, May 8th. Items 22 and 23 will be held till May 22nd. Seeing no other business before us, we will go ahead and have a presentation by Mayor Jim Strickland on our fiscal year 2019 budget. Mr. Mayor, welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the council. As usual, for the second meeting in April, I'm here to go over what we're proposing for the fiscal 2019 budget, actually 2 budgets. And as usual, I'm looking forward to a great spirit of collaboration with you, which our citizens have come to expect and appreciate. But before I do that, I want to take a couple of minutes to remind you what we've done together these 2+ years. We've done right by our employees. After years and years of no pay increases and even a temporary pay cut, we've delivered better pay. Police and fire employees in particular have seen total pay increases of between 6 and 7.75% since January 1, 2016. We've paved more streets. We've increased what we're doing for young people and for neighborhoods. We have further solidified our pension fund. And because we've been disciplined and efficient, we've been able to launch life-changing initiatives that we all agree are necessary, such as our joint plan to fund pre-kindergarten. To know where we're going, it's important to understand where we've been. Guided by the drive to run an efficient government that changes lives, we've come a long way these 2+ years. Here's how I propose to build on this for our 3rd budget together. Everywhere I go in this city, and I'm sure everywhere you go, people demand safer neighborhoods. And while this budget makes key investments throughout city government, strengthening public safety is a common thread throughout. We need to note the progress we've made thus far. Last week, the Crime Commission came out with its report on the first quarter of the year. Murders are down 38%, and major violent crime was down 5%. No one is celebrating this, of course, but it's undeniably encouraging news. Now, let's keep our foot on the pedal. We've been here before. From 2006 to 2011, we saw significant decreases in violent crime. And then, from 2012 through 2015, the city drastically reduced police recruiting, including no recruit class at all in 2014. By 2016, we were trending toward our smallest police force in a decade and our highest violent crime rate in a decade too. In this budget, we're proposing more than $2 million to continue to solidify our pension fund, a key benefit to all employees, including police and fire. $1.8 million to facilitate testing for police and fire promotions, an important part of our public safety retention strategy. Adequate funding to continue our strategy to rebuild the Memphis Police Department, which means hiring more officers. We've reversed our decline in police ranks and are showing promise to get back closer to where we once were. This proposed budget, funds 2 large or 3 mid-size police recruit classes. We also have adequate funding to increase the number of police service technicians, an important part of our overall strategy to free up commissioned officers to fight violent crime and to maintain a pipeline for future commissioned officers. This budget proposes staffed programming in parks, more library programming, and an increase in youth summer jobs in the employee program from 1,250 to 1,500. As a side note, I'd like to point out to y'all that's in addition to 330 that we have in the year-long MAP program, 370 in WIN's Summer Achieve program, and over 1,500 in WIN's year-long youth employment program for a grand total of 3,700. All of this is continuing to advance the growth that we've made together in the last 2 years when it comes to offering more to our youth. The good thing about so many of these items above is they're not all solely about public safety. They're about connecting our young people with opportunity. They're about reinvesting in our city and bringing new life into places dormant for too long. It doesn't stop there. Among the other highlights you'll see in the budget books are $19 million in street paving in the capital budget. It's our 3rd consecutive increase in street paving and double what we were doing just a few years ago. Targeted pay increases for employees for whom our market study has determined make 5% or more below market value for their respective jobs. And continuing all the successes we've had in increasing the city's performance with minority businesses, we're proposing to fund an initial step toward a new minority business incubator at the newly renovated Universal Life Building with our corporate and educational partners to spur growth in these businesses and create jobs. We all know that poverty is a community-wide challenge, but these initiatives show that we're continuing to do our part to combat our unacceptable rate of poverty. I'm proposing a tax rate of $3.19 per $100 in assessed value, one that's technically lower than our current $3.27 and the $3.40 that we started with back in 2016. There's a reason for that. As you'll remember, we set the rate of $3.27 last year because it was calculated to be the equivalent of or break even with our old rate once property values went up. We expected a normal number of appeals to those values. But now that those numbers have come in, we've learned that the appeals were way below normal. So to be equal to our current rate or the break-even rate, our proposed new rate would be $3.19. Anything above that is a tax increase. Now, I know some are thinking, why not just raise the tax rate to $3.27 and generate $8 million in new revenue? Well, I'd ask those folks to remember the big picture. Population loss remains our number one challenge, and I believe our tax rate, which is easily the highest in the state, is a reason why we've lost population. So I've made the decision not to propose a tax increase and to continue to run the most efficient government we can possibly run. Finally, let me go ahead and tackle a question I know many people will have. Are there across-the-board pay raises for employees? There are not. Do I wish we could? Yes. Do I think our employees deserve it? Absolutely, yes. But I want to show you what we're up against. Ms. Keplinger, if you could. This is what we've got. We'll have revenue growth this year of $10.1 million. And on the screen is how I propose that we spend it. 2.4 for our pension fund, which is frankly the minimum contribution under the law. As you know, we have to fully fund our pension fund by 2020. $1.8 million for the promotional testing I talked about, $1.5 million for the additional manpower at MPD, $1.4 million for the targeted pay increases for the undermarket employees, $1.3 million for the increased parks programming, most of which is that summer programming that we're bringing back for the first time in a couple decades to put employees in the parks to help our young people, $500,000 for increased fire department emergency personnel, medical personnel, $500,000 for the minority business incubator I talked about, and $500,000 for increased program in our libraries, and then $200 to $300 for miscellaneous items, including the 250 more summer jobs in our employee program. And just so you know, a 1% across the board pay increase costs $4.4 million, which is about over 40% of the new growth. So for anyone who wants to advocate for an across-the-board employee pay increase, we just ask that they be honest about the choices that must be made. Either they think that we should eliminate some of the stuff on that slide, or we cut something from our existing budget or raise taxes. Remember, in the past 28 months, we've had more employee increases, pay increases, than in the years prior. That's because we've worked together. We've been clear-eyed about our financial picture. We've compromised when we've had to, and we've kept the big picture in mind. Working together and working with the citizens we serve in our mind, we can accomplish reinvestments in our city that we never dreamed possible just a few years ago. Memphis has momentum. We see it at the recently opened Service Master headquarters. We see it in the $1 billion commitment for FedEx into their super hub. We see it in our low unemployment rate. We see it with 12,000 more people working in Memphis than just 2 years ago. We see it with cranes rising, with blight coming down, and with new life where decay once existed. And I think at city government, we have momentum too. We're becoming more efficient every year, and we're investing more and more into the things that really matter every year. With your help and in the spirit of working together, will continue that progress this year. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We will open it up for a few questions if any of my colleagues may want to comment or have any questions for you, Mr. Mayor, but I'm not seeing anyone in the queue, so that means you fulfilled your job very well, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Madam Comptroller, go to number 1, please. Councilwoman Swearingen, item number 1. Councilwoman Swearingen, did we lose her? Oh, there she is.
You want me to do it now, Chairman, or wait until?
Rock and roll.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please exit quietly? We still have a meeting going on. Please exit quietly. Thank you. Councilwoman, you have the floor.
We have a special moment here at the council, Mr. Chairman. I would like to please ask Dr. Maurice Johnson to please come forward once again. We have a surprise for you today. Not only were you asked to be the chaplain of the day, you were asked to be the chaplain of the day because we have a very special surprise for you. Will the members of Memphis Christian Center please enter? Come forward, please. See any familiar faces? This is his church family, and they surprised him. We had them stored in the mayor's hall, and he has not seen them. But they're here for this special moment. If you would come and gather around. Why are we here? Is your question. Whereas, upon occasion, the Memphis City Council approves the naming of specified public thoroughfares to honor citizens who have served this community. And whereas, Dr. Maurice A. Johnson, the 4th child of Elder Theodore and Annie Mae Johnson, a devoted wife and mother, is a graduate of East High School, received his Bachelor's of Fine Arts from Memphis State University, and earned his Master's and Doctorate of Theology from Jacksonville Theological Seminary with honors. And whereas at the age of 16, Dr. Johnson became an elder at Parkway Gardens Presbyterian Church and began developing youth programs and community service initiatives. And whereas prior to becoming a minister full-time, Dr. Johnson retired from a successful career at Channel 13 as a senior account executive for over 16 years. And whereas through the vision and drive of Dr. Johnson, the Memphis Christian Center was founded in July 1993, and the Memphis Christian Center has become the hub of the community and operates to serve its neighbors. And whereas with a compassion for community-minded leadership, Dr. Johnson created Grooming Greatness and Grooming Grace programs with a belief that mentorship can redirect the future of young people by changing their habits, attitudes, behaviors, and expectations. And whereas Dr. Johnson is blessed to have his loving wife of 42 years, Minister Brenda Kerr Johnson, as a spiritual and emotional partner by his side, and the support of their 3 sons, Maurice Jr., Morgan, Marcus, and 11 grandchildren, as Dr. Johnson continues to do God's work. And whereas the City Council gratefully records and extends its sincere appreciation to Dr. Maurice Johnson for his faithful and excellent service rendered to our city as an exemplary citizen worthy of this city's highest recognition and commendation, and congratulates him on his 25th pastoral anniversary with Memphis Christian Center. Now, drum roll. Therefore be it resolved that Cottonwood Road between Churchill Street and Castleman Street be honorarily dedicated as Dr. Maurice A. Johnson Road. Be it further resolved that the city engineer is requested to affix a suitable marker so designating such public thoroughfare, adopted this day, April 24th, 2018, by Councilwoman Jamita Swearingen and signed by our chairman, Berlin Boyd. You have a street.
Wow. Thank you.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Take a picture of all of us. Come on, y'all. There's my tree. Oh,
All
man.
right. Pastor, if you like, you can make a few comments if you like, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Those are swift comments.
All right. Give it up for Mark.
All right. Thank you, Dad.
Madam Comptroller, please call item number 2, please.
Item number 2 is a resolution approving an honorary street name change for Alfred Motlow Sr. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Jones.
Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I bring forth to you a resolution. It reads, whereas Alfred L. Motlow Sr. was born November 27th, 1935, to Floyd and Hattie Harrison Sr. He was the second to the youngest of 4 brothers and 1 sister, and whereas he received his grammar school education at Porter Elementary, where he realized very early, that he needed to get a job to help his family and started working at the age of 13 at Service Appliances. His hard work and initiative resulted in his promotion to apprentice electrician, and he remained employed there until high school graduation. And whereas Mr. Motlow graduated from historic Booker T. Washington High School Leadership Academy, where he excelled academically and realized he was blessed with the gift of song. And whereas his singing career garnered him a full music scholarship to the esteemed Fiscal University in Nashville, Tennessee, he was a member of the world-renowned Fiscal Jubilee Singers, which is the real reason why Nashville is Music City, under the well-known choir director, Dr. John Works, during his freshman and sophomore years. While attending Fiscal University, he pledged the fraternity where he saw to be the best, Omega Psi Phi fraternity, in the spring of 1954. He later then transferred to Tennessee State University on a music scholarship as well, under Dr. Eddie Goins, where he obtained a bachelor's degree in elementary education in 1956. Whereas, upon moving back to Memphis, Alfred Sr. obtained his first teaching position at Douglas Elementary, the beginning of a long and successful career in education, during which he obtained 2 master's degrees and contributed as a teacher at Douglas Elementary, teacher and guidance counselor at Corey Junior High, assistant principal at Hamilton High School, and finally, principal at Mitchell High School, where he served from 1978 to his retirement in 1983. And whereas during his 50-year growth from elementary educator to the chief administrator of education for his students, Alfred L. Motlow Sr. has touched at a minimum 25,000 lives. He is a pillar of this community and an inspirational example of excellence for all Memphians to be proud. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Memphis, Tennessee, that a testament to the life and work of Alfred L. Motlow Sr., that Perry Road between Ball Road and Alsey Road in Memphis, Tennessee be designated as Alfred L. Motlow Sr. Road. Be it further resolved that the city engineer is requested to affix suitable signs to designate such public road. Adopted April 23rd, 2018 by the Memphis City Council, signed by Martavius Jones. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I have his son, Vernon Motlow Sr. here, who may provide some remarks if you so choose.
If I had known it was going to be such a big occasion, I would have made sure my father was here for this. But we're going to have the unveiling with our family, our friends, our fraternity brothers on Perry, whatever date is available that Mr. Jones tells us. But I want to thank you all very, very much for this opportunity, for my father, who has really served the community well. I really, really, really appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Madam Comptroller, please call item number 4.
Item number 4 is a resolution accepting and appropriating $6,000 from the Tennessee Historical Commission for travel, registration, and hotel for 5 or more Memphis Landmark Commissioners to attend the 2018 National Alliance for Preservation Commission's biannual forum. This resolution is sponsored by the Office of Planning and Development.
Councilman Colvett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee met, recommends approval, and I so move.
It's been moved by Councilman Colvett, seconded by Councilman Morgan. Seeing no council members in the queue, council members, please cast your votes for item number 4, please.
Brown, yes. Colbert, yes. Conrad, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item number 31.
Number 31 is a resolution transferring an allocation and appropriating $340,000 funded by Geo Bonds General Fire Station Repair FS02001 and $600,000 major modification improvements to property GS01007 to replace Fire Station 5 FS02028. This resolution is sponsored by Fire Services.
Councilman Spinoza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee met, recommends approval, and I so move.
It's been moved by Councilman Spinoza, seconded by Councilman Morgan. Seeing no council members in the queue, please cast your votes for item number 31, please.
Colvett, yes. Conrad, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Brown, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item number 32. And council members, items 32 through 42 did request same night minutes. We did approve those in executive session. I did forget to bring it up to you guys, but we did have same night minute requests between 32 through 42.
Item number 32 is a resolution supplementing that certain resolutions of the council authorizing the issuance, sale, and delivery of not to exceed $325 million aggregate principal amount of the City of Memphis, Tennessee General Improvement Bonds, Series 2018, for the purpose of clarifying the maximum term of the 2018 bonds. This resolution is sponsored by the Finance Division.
Councilman Ford.
Mr. Chairman, this morning the committee met to consider this item and recommends approval, and I so move.
It's been moved by Councilman Ford, seconded by Councilman Morgan. Seeing no council members in the queue, Please cast your votes for item number 32.
Brown, yes. Colvett, yes. Conrad, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes. Please call the fiscal consent, item number 33.
Item number 33 on our fiscal consent is a resolution to accept and appropriate funds from Amerigroup Corporation in the amount of $70,000 for preparation cost for implementation of rapid assessment decision and redirection radar, including but not limited to radar program vehicles. This resolution is sponsored by Fire Services. Item number 34, resolution accepting a donation of Narcan nasal spray from Cardinal Health to be used by EMS for treatment of an opioid emergency. The donation has an estimated value of $200,000. This resolution is sponsored by Fire Services. Item number 35, resolution accepting a donation of Narcan nasal spray from Cardinal Health. All donations have an estimated value of $284,975. The donation is designated to be used by EMS for treatment of an opioid emergency, such as an overdose or a possible overdose with signs of breathing problems and severe sleepiness or unresponsiveness. This resolution is sponsored by Police Services. Item number 36 is a resolution accepting grant funds in the amount of $197,000 from the Tennessee Office of Criminal Justice Programs. This resolution is sponsored by Police Services. Item number 37, resolution accepting one MPD RTCC camera compatible with existing MPD equipment to be installed on Briarhead Street at the request of a resident of Briarhead Street who gave the necessary funds. The cumulative total donation is $5,980. The donor is the Memphis Shelby County Law Enforcement Foundation. This resolution is sponsored by Police Services. Item number 38, resolution accepting one MPD RTCC camera compatible with existing MPD equipment to be installed at the Bent Tree Apartments at the request of the residents of Bent Tree Apartments who gave the necessary funds. The cumulative total donation is $6,380. The donor is the Memphis Shelby County Law Enforcement Foundation. This resolution is sponsored by Police Services. Item number 39, resolution accepting one MPD RTCC camera compatible with existing MPD equipment to be installed in the Keswick Stornoway neighborhood at the request of the residents of the Keswick Stornoway Neighborhood Association who gave the necessary funds. The cumulative total donation is $5,905. The donor is the Memphis Shelby County Law Enforcement Foundation. This resolution is sponsored also by Police Services. Item number 40, resolution accepting and allocating grant funds from Best Friends Animal Society in order for Memphis Animal Services to allow for reduced adoption fees for at least 857 dogs over 25 pounds, large dogs being the most at-risk population at Memphis Animal Services. Resolution also amends FY 2018 operating budget to establish and appropriate $30,000 in grant funds. This resolution is sponsored by Memphis Animal Services. Item number 41.
That ends our
That is correct. That concludes our fiscal consent agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Councilman
You're welcome.
Conrad, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had a question for on 34 and 35 on the Narcan contribution.
I see Director Sweat coming.
Good afternoon.
Thanks.
Director Sweat, Fire Services.
Quick question, just what's the number of doses per year that we're...
Last year it's increased substantially every year. Last year we administered over 2,500 doses in fire services.
MPD, is it all fire related?
It's kind of a joint thing, Councilman. MPD and fire will be working in conjunction.
And does this cover that whole amount?
So I believe this, earlier today, we were still having some discussion. I believe this is going to be somewhere around 6,900 doses. So that would cover, theoretically, about 2 years' worth of doses that we've been administering. But it has, like I said, it has increased significantly every year.
And how did we get, it's just it's a lot, it's great, it's a lot of money, it's just, they're just contributing it?
So there are 4 pharmacies that are subsidiaries of Cardinal Health, and each of them applied for a grant, one for MFD and for MPD separately. And so that was how they were able to get such a large amount for our community. And we were able to demonstrate through some of our data the need for the Narcan in our community.
Who applied for the grant, you said?
This was First Pharmacy. There's 4 pharmacies in town, and I work with Dr. Denise Pratt.
Right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilman Conrad. Seeing no one else in the queue, council members, please cast your votes. This item was moved by Councilman Ford, seconded by Councilman Morgan, and please cast your votes for our fiscal consent agenda.
Brown, yes. Colbert, yes. Conrad, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes. Please call item number 41.
Item number 41 is a resolution transferring and appropriating a construction allocation for street paving in the amount of $5,620,940 for asphalt paving resurfacing Group 1. This resolution is sponsored by the Public Works Division.
Councilman Hedgepeth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee met recommends approval, and I so move.
It's been moved by Councilman Hedgepeth, seconded by Councilman Morgan. Seeing no one else in the queue, cast your votes for item number 41.
Brown, yes. Colbert, yes. Conrad, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes. Please call item number 42.
Item number 42 is a resolution transferring and appropriating a construction allocation for street paving in the amount of $5,682,104 for asphalt paving resurfacing Group 2. This resolution is sponsored by the Public Works Division.
Councilman Hedgepeth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee met recommends approval, and I so move.
It's been moved by Councilman Hedgepeth, seconded by Councilman Morgan. Seeing no one in the queue, cast your votes for item number 42.
Brown, yes. Colbert, yes. Conrad, yes. Ford, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please go to item number 30, please.
Item number 30 is a resolution to consider and accept elevating the base salary for all full-time employees to $32,240, which is equivalent to $15.50 per hour. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Ford.
Councilman Ford.
Mr. Chairman, the committee met and considered this item was given a positive recommendation. I'd like to go ahead and move this on the floor.
All right, it's been moved by Councilman Ford, seconded by Councilman Morgan. Seeing no council members in the queue, please cast your votes for item number 30.
yes. Covett, yes. Conrad, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call the consent agenda and show me recusing myself.
Thank you, sir. I certainly will. Item number 5 is a joint ordinance amending the Memphis and Shelby County Unified Development Code as adopted by the City of Memphis August 10th, 2010, and by Shelby County August 9th, 2010, as amended to revise and enhance the joint zoning and subdivision regulations as recommended by the Memphis and Shelby County Office of Planning and Development and the Land Use Control Board. This text amendment affects all property within the City of Memphis and unincorporated Shelby County. Up for first reading, this ordinance is sponsored by the Office of Planning and Development, the case number ZTA 18-001, ordinance number 5688. Item number 6 is up for second reading. This ordinance is sponsored by the Office of Planning and Development. The case number is STHD 18-002, ordinance number 5687. Item number 7, engineering. Resolution approving final plat of Tournament Center PD Phase 8 Area B-1 and C-1. Contract number CR-5271. Item number 8, notations from the Land Use Control Board that the following cases were heard and a recommendation made requesting a date of public hearing for A, case number PD 18-14, Poplar, Williamsburg Plan Development. B, case number PD 18-05, Madison Midtown Plan Development, with companion cases SAC 18-01 and SAC-18-02. C is case number SAC 18-01, North Willette Street, companion cases SAC 18-02 and PD 18-05. And D is case number SAC 18-02 with companion cases SAC 18-01 and PD 18-05. And finally, E is case number SUP 17-02, located at 1054 Firestone Avenue, northwest corner of Firestone Avenue and Breedlove Avenue, leased area containing plus or minus 7,960 square foot building on 0.679 acre site in the commercial mixed use CMU-1 district. Mr. Chairman, I believe that concludes our consent agenda.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. It's
You're
been moved
very
by
welcome,
Councilman
Mr. Chairman.
Ford, seconded by Councilman Colvett. Seeing no one in the queue, please cast your votes for our consent agenda.
Brown, yes. Covett, yes. Conrad, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd recused.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item number 20 of our regular agenda.
Item number 20, appointment to the Health, Educational, and Housing Facility Board, Cliff Henderson.
Councilman Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee met, recommends approval, and I so move.
It's been moved by Councilman Morgan. Can I get someone to second? Thank you, Councilwoman Swearingen. It's been seconded by Councilwoman Swearingen. Seeing no council members in the queue, please cast your votes for item number 20. Please show your votes.
Brown, yes. Conrad, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passed. Madam Comptroller, please call item number 21.
Item number 21 is a resolution approving the FY19 budget for Downtown Memphis Commission and a affirming the Central Business Improvement District assessment rate of 0.65 per $100 of assessed value, no change. This resolution is sponsored by Downtown Memphis Commission.
All right, Councilman Ford.
Mr. Chairman, 2 weeks ago, we recommended and considered this item. It was given a positive recommendation, but there were some questions that were also given and some requests, and I hope we're able to get some of those questions answered if they were not articulated electronically or otherwise through Ms. Jennifer Oswald. So to start the conversation, I'd like to move it on the floor.
Okay, for conversation-wise, it's moved by Councilman Ford, seconded by Councilman Spinoza. Councilman Jones, you're recognized, sir. Councilman Jones, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I requested information and I received it from Ms. Oswald at the Downtown Memphis Commission. However, I'm looking at the fact that we have, based upon the mayor's budget presentation, we will be looking at in essence, a reduction in our particular tax rate. So knowing that we have essentially have to look at, I know that theirs is no change, but if there's no change, there's a built-in increase of what their assessment is. And so I would like to ask Ms. Oswald if you all can come back with a budget that is essentially adjusted the same way that we will have to adjust our budget based upon assessments. You follow me?
Yeah, you know what, Councilman Jones, I have to agree with you because I think the information that I saw with DMC's budget, it was a 17% increase, close to like $500,000, I think $490,000 of overage.
But it's now it wasn't necessarily an increase in that 65 cents. It's more so the fact that the assessments have gone up, and therefore it's almost a windfall.
Right.
But because I guess I don't know is there a certain time period that you all have to have your budget approved?
Yes, Jennifer Oswald, President, Downtown Memphis Commission. Our ordinance called for May 1st, and that's why we requested to come early. And it's my understanding that the assessment has not changed in its history, so there have been fluctuations in the assessment. It hasn't changed. And if you look at it over the last 10 or 12 years, it fluctuates slightly, but it's not a significant amount. And we do have lots of appeals that come through on the CBID assessment as well. So this is just a guideline. Having said that, the increase is being 100% dedicated to the Blue Suede Brigade and related activities for that group.
Thank you.
Thank you. So last year, I think we passed and approved your budget in September. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we meet again May 8th. So we would have it back in Mr. Jones' committee. It'd be in budget. Councilman Ford committee. May 8th, the morning of May 8th. So hopefully it won't delay you that much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So, Madam Comptroller, please call item number 24.
Item number 24 is an ordinance creating a pre-K education special fund. Up for third and final reading. Ordinance number 5685 is sponsored by Mayor Jim Strickland, Chairman Boyd, Councilman Covette, Conrad, Ford, Jones, Spinoza, and Councilwoman Robinson.
I'll give it to you, Councilman Ford. Go
All
ahead.
right. The committee met recommends approval, and I so move.
It's been moved by Councilman, moved
You
by
can give it to Ms.
Councilwoman Robinson, seconded by Councilman Morgan. I do have a card on this item, and so we'll go ahead and recognize Mr. Michael Kane. Mr. Michael Kane, okay. Please state your name and address for the record, sir. At the end of your stating your name and address, your 2 minutes will begin.
Thank you. My name is Michael Kane, 5132 Steuben in Memphis, Tennessee, 38134. I'm here to talk about the prospect of using taxpayer money to pay for pre-K education in Memphis schools. I've read the presentation by Seeding Success, which was posted on the City Council website along with the the ordinance to create a pre-K education special fund. Both paint a rosy picture of the effectiveness of pre-K that contradicts the academic research on the subject, and neither gives any citations to its sources of information. I'm opposed to spending taxpayer money on pre-K, which until recently was called daycare, but which is more accurately called babysitting. Research shows that pre-K programs do not work, meaning they do not give the taxpayers a good return on their investment, and they do not help children do better in school, either in kindergarten or later in their educational development. The only group of people these programs help is teachers' unions. The Head Start program is a good example to look at because it's been around for 50 years. Columnist Joe Klein stated in a 2011 Time magazine article, quote, "We spend more than $7 billion providing Head Start to nearly 1 million children each year, and finally there is indisputable evidence about the program's effectiveness provided by the Department of Health and Human Services. Head Start simply does not work," unquote. The Head Start Impact Study tracked 3- and 4-year-olds from the time they entered Head Start through kindergarten and first grade, then to the end of third grade. The conclusion was that Head Start had little to no effect on cognitive, social, emotional, or health outcomes of participating children. Now, I know politicians love to talk about implementing universal pre-K or babysitting as a panacea to solve the problem of a school system that is failing to educate. All they have to do is vote to spend a bunch of taxpayer money on a babysitting program, and it shows they care about children.
You're out of time, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, seeing no other comments, cards, or any members in the queue, please cast your votes for item number 24.
Brown, yes. Conrad, yes. Ford, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes. Please call item number 25, please.
Item number 25 is an ordinance establishing funding dedicated to the pre-K education special fund. Up for third and final reading, ordinance number 5686 is sponsored by Mayor Jim Strickland, Chairman Boyd, Councilman Covette, Conrad, Ford, Jones, Spinoza, and Councilwoman Robinson.
Councilwoman Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We appreciate everyone's support on this, but the committee met. We recommended approval. It's here for our third and final reading, and I ask for your support.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilwoman Robinson, seconded by Councilman Spinoza. I do want to give Mr. Kane, I noticed you put 24 and 25. Our rules, per our council rules, you can speak twice on a particular item for our meeting. So if you'd like to speak again, I will give you an opportunity for 2 minutes to speak. If not, we will move forward. So I take it that you want to speak. All right, please state your name and address for the record again. Your 2 minutes will begin.
My name is Michael Kane, 5132 Steuben, Memphis, Tennessee, 38134. And just to continue what I was saying previously, I don't question anybody's motives. I know everybody wants to try to solve this problem of poor performance in our schools. Students having a low performance in reading especially, but throwing money at the problem is really not the solution. There's a lot of research on this topic of pre-K education. For example, in 2015, a team of researchers from Vanderbilt University released an evaluation of Tennessee's voluntary pre-K program, which is a state-subsidized preschool program open to low-income children in Tennessee. Some 18,000 children participate in the program, which was introduced in 1996. Proponents have long claimed the Tennessee program is a model state-based preschool program. According to October 3rd, 2015 New York Times article, an early evaluation showed that youngsters who attended pre-K made substantial gains in math, language, and reading. But startlingly, the gains had evaporated by the end of kindergarten, and a follow-up study tracking the same kids to third grade showed no evidence that the children benefited cognitively from preschool. So to sum up, programs that funnel taxpayer dollars to pay for babysitting are not a good investment. If you have any interest, I'll be glad to provide you with some of the academic research on the subject. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, sir. Seeing no other council members in the queue, please cast your votes for item number 25.
Brown, yes. Conrad, yes. Ford, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item number 26.
Item number 26 is a resolution allocating and appropriating capital Paygo funds totaling $8.3 million for Autozone park improvements, $1 million fire services personal protective equipment, $4.9 million, and information systems infrastructure upgrade projects, $2.4 million. This resolution is sponsored by the Finance Division.
Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Budget Committee met, approved this item, and I so move.
All right, can you move it electronically, please? All right, I see Councilwoman Robinson.
That's correct.
Did you just move this?
He moved it, and I seconded
Okay, Councilwoman, it's been moved by Councilwoman Robinson, seconded by Councilman Jones. Seeing no one in the queue, cast your votes for item number 26.
Brown, yes. Conrad, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes. Please call item number 27, please.
Item number 27 is a resolution transferring an allocation and appropriation totaling $1,013,658 from CIP project number FS02008, Relocate Fire Station number 11, FS02020, Southwind Fire Station, and FSC2018, Fire Station number 63 to fund the land acquisition, A&E Services, and FFE to replace Fire Station 1 and 5. This resolution is sponsored by Fire Services.
Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee met, approved this item, and I so move.
It's been moved by Councilman Jones, seconded by Councilman Spinoza. Seeing no council members in the queue, cast your votes for item number 27, please.
Brown, yes. Conrad, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes.
And Councilor Swearingen, yes, as well. Thank you.
Please call item number 28.
Item number 28 is a resolution requesting a transfer of an allocation from the cover line FS18100 to FY18 Fire Station number 17 sewer improvements to FY18 Fire Station number 17 sewer improvements FS18104 in the amount of $279,795 and appropriate $279,795 for Fire Station number 17 sewer improvements with the best complying bid submitted by Barnes and Brower, Inc. Fire Station number 17 is located at 611 National Street. Funding for this project will be from CIP project number FS18104, which is part of the FY18 Capital Improvement Budget funded by GO Bonds General. This resolution is sponsored by Fire Services.
Councilman Spinoza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee met, recommends approval, and I so move.
It's been moved by Councilman Spinoza, seconded by Councilman Morgan. Seeing no other council members, cast your votes for item number 28. Please show the votes.
I tried. It is displayed. Brown, yes. Conrad, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes. Please call item number 29.
Item number 29 is a resolution appropriating the sum of $250,000 funded by GO Bonds General, chargeable to the FY 2018 capital improvement budget for the Klondike Smoky City redevelopment project. This resolution is sponsored by Housing and Community Development Division.
Councilman Brown.
Mr. Chairman, the committee has met on this item, and it was approved in committee unanimously, and I so move. I'm in the motion.
Been moved by Councilman Brown, seconded by Councilman Spinoza. Seeing no one in the queue, cast your votes for item number 29.
Brown, yes. Conrad, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
Item passes. Please call the MLGW fiscal consent, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 9 is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Summit Truck Group for the purchase of 12 crew cab and chassis and 9 dump trucks in the amount of $1,597,739. Item number 10 is a resolution awarding a purchase order to AutoNation Ford Memphis for the purchase of 26 one-ton service body trucks in the amount of $996,641.33. Item number 11 is a resolution awarding contract number 12022, substation roof replacements to B4 Plyde Incorporated in the funded amount of $365,473. Item number 12 is a resolution approving payment of an invoice from the Tennessee Valley Public Power Association for the 2018 membership dues in the amount of $52,013.47. Item number 13 is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Black Box Network Services for the purchase, installation, and maintenance services of Genesis IVR and dual PRT1 cards in the amount of $266,922.47. Item number 14, resolution amending purchase order number 7001387 to HV Sales Representative for AZZ Enclosure Systems for prefabricated steel modular structure to be used as a substation equipment enclosure as a required regulation for MLGW's newly constructed TVA Thomas H. Allen Substation number 35, located at 2574 Plant Road, Memphis, Tennessee. Item number 15 is a resolution approving change number 4 to contract number 11676, professional engineering services with Allen and Hoschel, based on agreed upon rates in the funded amount of $225,000. Item number 16 is a resolution approving change number 2 to contract number 12045, formerly C1999, eVestment with eVestment Alliance LLC in the funded amount of $18,957. Item number 17 is a resolution approving change number 1 to contract number 11933 IVR replacement with Dirad Technologies in the funded amount of $1,583,513.30 based on agreed upon rates. Item number 18 is a resolution approving a purchase order to Konica Minolta Business Solutions for a 48-month period for rental of division copy fleet in the amount of $505,277.28. And item number 19 is a resolution approving change number 1 to contract number 11906, video production services for Memphis Energize with behind the scenes in the funded amount of $54,000 with no increase in rates from the previous year. Mr. Chairman, that concludes our MLGW fiscal consent items.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. This item has been moved by Councilwoman Robinson, seconded by Councilman Morgan. Seeing no council members in the queue, please cast your votes for the MLGW fiscal consent agenda.
Brown, yes. Conrad, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes. Excuse me?
On MLG and W has
All right. So without objection, item number 14, adding that with same night minute requests on the MLGW fiscal. Without objection. All right, it's added. So I need Sam, can you add that to our same night minutes? So what I'll do is I won't take care of same night minutes. I'll just go to our public comments. I do have cards here. So please, I will call your name. Please come up, state your name and address for the record. After you complete it, your 2 minutes will start. I have Ruth Hibbler, Christina Cliff, Allison Donald, Joby Kent. In that order, please. Ruth Hibbler, Christina Cliff, Allison Donald, Joby Kent. In that order, please. Ma'am, are you Ruth Hibbler? Okay, we're going to get someone to help you to the mic. Can someone please help Ms. Hibbler to the mic? Thank you, Rudy. You're not only our media, you're a good citizen as well. Make you honorary citizen of the day, Rudy.
This is the mic. Okay. All right. My name is, ready?
Yes, ma'am, whenever you are.
I'm ready. My name is Ruth Hibbler. My address is 746 Bonwood Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee, 38109. And I asked to speak because I sent an email message to the mayor and all the city council people of Memphis because you are our leaders, but you seem to have forgotten about the matter plus transportation. We can turn on the TV and hear everything about the fixed route buses, the trolley cars, but nobody is saying anything what they're going to do about not having enough buses, not having enough drivers, and I also would like you to know that we need to do something about those Matter Plus drivers because they are not just drivers. They are doctors, caretakers, emergency people, and everything else. And even though we are blind, handicapped, we used to be citizens. We worked in the city of Memphis. So now, can y'all do something about us? Have y'all forgotten about us? Can you please help us?
Thank you so much, Ms. Hibbler. We do have Matters leadership here, and they are listening to everything that you're saying. So hopefully we can get some of these things addressed for you. And you're still a citizen, ma'am. Christina Cliff, Allison Donald, Joby Kent, in that order.
Alrighty, my name is Christina Clift. My address is 1633 Madison Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee, 38104. As president of the National Federation of the Blind and the Memphis chapter, I'd like to talk briefly about a problem that impacts Memphians who are blind and which has done so for many years. It's called illegal capacity constraints, and it is illegal under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Currently, MATA's paratransit service, often called MATA Plus, has constraints on the number of reservations that can be made per day and the amount of rides booked per day. This illegal practice has gone on for far too long. It impacts the daily lives of individuals with disabilities in our community, not just the blind. To be able to live full and active lives, we, like everybody else, want to be able to work, live, and play in our community. However, MATA is our biggest barrier to doing so. We've tried reaching out to the management at MATA through letters, attending countless meetings, and we've seen little improvement. In fact, we are often told that they return every call and that they just don't have enough money to solve their capacity constraints. Well, that's not our problem. That's yours and theirs. All we want is to be able to get a ride. If we cannot get improvement to bringing our concerns to this body, our only recourse is to take the next step and contact the Federal Transit Administration. For as long as I can remember, MATA has always had...
Just go ahead and wrap up if you can.
Okay, I'm almost there. Has always had these problems, and as a person with a disability, I'm asking you, how long must I wait before a change is going to come? Because I've been told on numerous occasions by MATA staff, just wait a little bit longer, we'll make improvement. Well, we are tired of waiting, and we hope that our elected officials will address our concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Allison Donald, Joby Kent, Theron C. Bond, in that order. Allison Donald, Joby Kent. Okay.
Thank you, council members, for having me this evening. My name is Allison Donald. I live at 109 Kill Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee, 38107. I would like to read to you a portion of the letter that we gave to the CEO of MATA a little bit over a month ago, and we have yet to receive a response. Over the past 3 weeks, staff at the Memphis Center for Independent Living have personally experienced trip denials and encountered problems with MATA's phone system when calling for a reservation. We have also received 18 similar complaints from MATA Plus riders. As a result, we have launched a campaign to begin educating riders on what a trip denial is, and to discover how prevalent this practice has become. As you already know, trip denials are against the law under the ADA. A trip denial is the limit of number of trips an individual may make, or trip waiting list, denying a person a trip, long telephone calls, substantial number of excessively long trips, and a substantial number of significantly untimely pickups. For the last 2 months, the MATA board meetings has been filled with people with disabilities because we have no other recourse. There is only one real way to complain to MATA Plus, and that's through the customer service line. And often our complaints are dismissed and disregarded and explained away by MATA administration. And we would like the council members' help, assistance in being able to live, work, and play and travel through our community just as any other non-disabled person would. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Councilman Conrad is about to do the same thing that I wanted to. Councilman Conrad.
Thank you, Chairman.
1 second, Mr. Kent. Go ahead, Councilman Conrad.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think, is Director Rosenfeld back here? Do you mind?
Good afternoon, Gary Rosenfeld, MATA.
Thank you. I don't know if you just maybe want to quickly respond. I have heard from some other constituents just have kind of called about some customer service issues, and the feedback I've gotten is like the issue was solved, but the customer service wasn't the greatest in terms of how people were talked to. So I'd just like to hear your kind of response and anything you're working on in this regard to make some of these improvements that we heard about today.
Certainly. Thank you for the opportunity. So we have, beginning in February, we started to receive some complaints at the board level from regarding the length of time trips were taking to accomplish. We made some adjustments in our scheduling to reduce the length of trips, which put some stress and strain on the number of trips that could be taken at any given time. It's not necessarily trip denials, it's trip movement. When somebody calls to make a reservation, if there's no trip available or service available at the time, we start a process that's known as negotiation and attempt to move the trip to a different time during the day. We do that, and that's part of the process that people go through for reservations, and then we execute the trips accordingly. We are looking at a number of changes to the MATA Plus system. Number one, we got fully staffed in our reservation office, which was experiencing a shortage of people, which led to long wait times and hold times, and the need for people to leave messages rather than speak to a live operator at that given time. Checking earlier today on that process, we're fully staffed at the reservation office, and now all messages that are left any time during the day are returned within an hour, and all calls are cleared by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is when the reservations period closes for the next day. MATA Plus needs to upgrade its fleet. We are in the process of doing so. We have over 30 buses that are well over 500,000 miles in service, and the capital has been made available for us to be able to do that and make those changes. That will take time. It's not something that we can just go out and buy vehicles. It's not an off the fleet or off the lot type purchase. We're also looking at some changes to the fare structure to allow MATA Plus passengers who are able to use the fixed route service to be able to ride the fixed route service for free. We'll be implementing that in the next few weeks. We are also looking at changing the way we handle service over the weekends to be able to better utilize some federal funds that are available. And as soon as we have all the details in that program, we'll make that information public.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to piggyback on Councilman Conrad's comment, so what would it take to actually create an efficient system for MATA Plus?
Councilman, I mean, our customers are correct that our funding issues are not their problem. It's our problem and the council's problem. But there is a funding shortfall for all of our services. And as we move forward with Transit Vision, the additional revenues that are projected needed to incorporate Transit Vision do have a paratransit piece to it. And that's an important piece to add to that program as well. But it is there's no getting around that part of it is a fiscal issue.
So let me just ask you this, and I understand it has a fiscal a note to it, but where did we get the money from to fix our trolleys?
The trolleys were from federal grants that were specific for rail operations.
So are there any federal grants for paratransit?
There is what's called the Discretionary Grant Program, for which we have made application. That we were successful last year in getting some buses, some fixed route buses, and this year's program we were just alerted to some money coming in through TDOT, and it'll be dedicated to the paratransit fleet.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Yes. Hold on one second, Councilwoman Swearingen, you're recognized.
Thank you. What about their calls not being returned? They have some concerns with MATA, and they have shared that their phone calls are not being returned. Is there an explanation for that?
There's no excuse for phone calls not being returned. They should be returned. Several weeks ago, calls were going well into the early evening hours and attempting to return phone calls, and just making contact with people at that point just became very difficult. It is my understanding that through the last week and this week, all the calls are being returned before 4 o'clock, and the number of calls where messages are actually being left is down into the single digits at this point.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Let's council member recognize you. We're gonna allow you. Okay, Mr. Brown recognized you.
Yeah, I just had one more question.
Okay, sorry. Hold on, ma'am. 1 second.
I'll be happy to.
Hold on 1 second. Councilwoman Swearingen, you still have the floor. Go ahead and answer your one question.
Which one of you all shared that you have been attempting to contact MATA, and they have not returned your phone call? Was that? Has it been longer than this week? Yes. Okay, so you're returning calls, and they roll over every day at 4 o'clock. But these ladies have had they called weeks ago, and they still have not been returned. And is there an explanation for that?
I don't have an explanation right here today, ma'am. I'm sorry.
That's not good customer service.
I couldn't agree with you more.
I mean, do you care?
Very much so. Very much so. We've been working hard to try to solve these problems. We've been trying to solve the problems within the resources that we have available to us. This is a big problem, ranging from everything from a phone system that's antiquated and outdated, to a computer system for reservations that is also antiquated and outdated, that does not take advantage of today's technology that's available. So when you compare what we're capable of doing with what other programs that are available can do, because they've got a more recent investment in that type of technology, it shows the difference, vividly, and that's a concern.
And I was just wondering if some additional training needs to be involved. You remember I attended a meeting before last, and the lady got up and expressed to your board that when she got off the bus, her purse was snatched. They threw her to the ground, and she asked your driver to call the police as well as the staff in the station, and none of them would do it. So I was wondering, perhaps you all need to go through some.
Well, we've got some customer service training coming on board in May for all of our bus operators. I believe the incident that you are referring to was something that happened on outside of our control, and then the person that perpetrated the event was on our property, and it came back after the fact. It wasn't in the process. Nonetheless, we quickly dealt with that issue with the people that were involved in it. We do have a customer service training program that has been going on that will start in May, that will deal with complaint resolution and de-escalation practices for our bus operators.
Well, I know these ladies are pleading, and all they want is to be treated like any other citizen. They want the buses there for transportation. There seems to be a lack in the buses. They're not receiving personal service. They can't get their phone calls returned. And this is not the kind of transit service nor the message that we want to send to our constituency.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right. let's recognize the young lady. I think she said she had a question. Ms. Hilliard, Ms. Hilliard, you had a question?
Get to one, they dump you to the phone service, and they say the phone service will call you back. Yes, a couple of times somebody called you back, but that person took your order and said somebody else was going to call you back. But if they don't, then no, you don't have these reservations. And that happened to me 2 times in 1 week. So I think there's something wrong with that. They're not calling you back, and if they're not calling you back and they're taking your orders, if you don't talk to a live person, you're not going to get where you want to go.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's see, I do have some more cards. And Mr. Rosen, can you make sure, like, at least give us an update in the next couple weeks as it pertains to this new system? I think you said you're up to capacity with employees, and so can you give us a few more weeks, like, update?
Certainly, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. All right, we have Joby Kent, Theron C. Bunn, Stephanie Jones. Please come in that order. I have Mr. Kent. Please state your name and address for the record. Your 2 minutes will start.
Joby Kent, 5111 Flamingo, Memphis, Tennessee, 38117. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was doing some research over the weekend. I've got some good news. Y'all ready for some good news? All right. Memphis, Tennessee is in the top 3 of 104 metros in ACT Work-Ready Community Program in business partnerships of record. Now, that's pretty important. So, with that said, beyond pilots, Memphis needs a think big value proposition to attract economic development to Memphis. So we have to have something else besides just a pilot. So let me role play for a moment with a prospective corporate recruitment client. Thank you, Memphis, for your pilot offer. Now tell me about your workforce. Now this is what I want us to be able to tell prospective clients about our workforce. We in Memphis are the national leaders in career education. We have more established employer workforce development partnerships of record than anyone in the nation, which annually produces 10,000 local career portfolio certificates that provides core customer service training for all. 500 platinum level national career readiness certificates aligned specifically to your occupational needs. 2,000 gold national career readiness certificates. 6,000 silvers and 1,500 bronze with customized training available to meet your specific needs. So that's what I want to be able to tell. As you see me working around, that's the initiative I'm pushing, specifically with the GMACW EDGE WIN partnership. I think WIN is doing great. I'm really focused on GMACW and EDGE and in-school audiences. So I hope you support, and if any of you want me to come by and talk to you about it, I've already talked to Councilman Morgan, Councilman Colvette. Please let me know. I'll be happy to share it with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Theron C. Bunn, Stephanie Jones, Dr. Gladys Jones, and Lucille Catron, in that order. Theron C. Bunn, Stephanie Jones, Dr. Gladys Jones, and Lucille Catron, in that order.
Theron C. Bond, 681 West Rains Road, Memphis, Tennessee, 38109. If you honestly expect Memphians to believe that you working to attract large corporations is opportunity for us all when you've embedded into so many of our brains that we aren't skilled or educated enough and you haven't pushed for our equitable wages that are actually available, instead of a Memphis opportunity package, how about we move out of poverty? You seem to think that dangling the carrot spirit is still eye-catching, as if we should take what we are given and those crumbs simply aren't enough anymore. The buck stops here, with conflicts of interest going unnoticed for new plan developments to be constructed, with recusal for voting not equal to recusal from back-end funds, and also for cherry picking when Nashville can or cannot dictate to Memphis. If you don't want them in your business when it works against you, we don't want them in our business when it doesn't. Memphians can no longer be used as test dummies on the path to determining the best quality of life based on some of council's personal and sometimes questionable pursuits. The turn of 2018 to 2019 has to mark the end of politics and the beginning of leadership. It's clear for effective leadership to reign that a little old, a little new, a little borrowed, but all being true is what's necessary to move the city of Memphis forward. We need the old guard to advise on do's and don'ts, but also to be respectful of the rise of worthy new leaders emerging. We need those new leaders to have the tough conversations with seasoned officials and dig deep to determine the best place for them within or supporting the government. With that, for those who are qualified, we need that door opened and available for us. We need to borrow the ways of municipalities with similar demographics that have been effective with disbursement of resources and implementing legislation. This means we need to be competitive but not cold, inviting but not ignorant, resourceful but not reactive. Going forward, leadership must marry the issues, mediate if necessary, and be committed to progress from now till forever.
Stephanie Jones, Dr. Gladys Jones, Lucille Catron, in that order, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephanie Jones, and my address is, I gave my work address, 2693 Union Avenue Extended,
Please.
Memphis, Tennessee, 38112, which is the
Please
home of
state-
Clover Nook Center.
Please state your home address. That's our council.
1258 Inglewood, Memphis, Tennessee, 38106.
Thank you.
I stand here in front of you today not only as a member of the blind and visually impaired community, but also a professional in it. I've heard already conversation about the MATA+ system, how things are moving forward, things are getting better, and I appreciate that. I thank you all for your time that you have taken to ensure these things. But I also want to stand here and say, as a member of Clover Nook, use us as a resource. This city is not alone in its leadership. There are resources, agencies here that can help. If training needs to be in place for how to deal with people with different abilities, use us in order to be able to do that. Don't take the burden on by yourself. Allow us to assess the training or assess maybe the systems that are in place. Let's work on its accessibility, so that we could also hire skilled workers from the blind and visually impaired community or from other disabled communities in order to have a skilled workforce in place if hiring people is a problem. These things we want to not just put in front of you as a problem, but we want to offer a meaningful dialogue in order to take back to our clients and assure them that the city of Memphis is listening. I've heard two conversations about the workforce. You have a skilled workforce in the disability community. Use those resources to attract employers, to attract other companies coming to the city. But I've got to be able to get them there once I train them. Okay? So allow us to help. Even today's process of being able to speak to you all is not accessible to me. I had to go and get a sighted person to complete the process for me. That should have been accessible to me as a citizen of this city. Whatever I can do standing here in front of you, I promise you, call upon me, we'll get it done. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Gladys Jones, Lucille Catron, in that order, please.
Hello. Thank you for allowing me to speak before you. My name is Dr. Gladys A. Jones. I live at 569 Moline Road, Memphis, Tennessee, 38109. I'm here to talk about my experience as well with MATA+. I sympathize with those that have already spoken because I too have experienced those kinds of problems. But one of the things that I would like to also add is that when we make reservations, we're told that things have changed only at the time we make a reservation. There's no way to get information out that routes have changed, that processes have changed, that for instance, I called to make a reservation one day. I had left a voicemail. I got a call back, but I was at church, couldn't answer the phone. And then when I talked to them the next day, they said, oh, yes, we made a reservation for you. Well, the next time that occurred, I tried to make a reservation, and then they said, no, we can no longer make a reservation without talking to you directly. But I didn't know that. I had no idea that the process had changed, no communication was passed along. In addition to that, when I want to go someplace and I call to make a reservation, I'm then told that I no longer can go to that location because they have changed the route. I didn't know that. I have an appointment to go to a particular location, but I now cannot make it. So I then have to find out a different way to get there. So there are a lot of things that change without us even knowing that they have changed. And there's no way for us to find that out unless we call and try to make a reservation, and then we're told. But then someone indicated that we need to go online to figure out what it is. Now, I can go online. I have a background in IT. But the thing is, there are a lot of people in the disability community that cannot access the computer. They can't get online and go and make changes. So they can't read what's out there. So how else do you plan to inform these people that things have changed? So I ask that you make things more accessible in ways that are not print, or that perhaps are phone calls, or anything that can allow people to be informed of the changes that are being made.
Thank you. All right,
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Did somebody call my name? Yes.
City Councilman Joe Brown.
Oh, hi, Mr. Brown. How are you, Councilman Brown?
Jones is your father, am I correct?
Yes.
I do know who you are, and I know what you stand for, and I know your impact. In government, I know you were tops, and I know your father was tops. You have access to what's going on with matter, and I know that you can bring a conclusion to it by being a consultant and a lobbyist yourself. I know for a fact that the statements that you make are true. I've heard them before. I didn't know you were having complications with matter, but it makes it better because you're able to put something structured in writing or structured in terms of where new policies can be presented to that board. Matter's not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not concerned about the handicapped. The handicapped, people with disabilities.
Yes, it's just the terminology. She was indicating people with disabilities. That's okay. We have to just educate people.
Ma'am, I apologize. My mistake. But at the same time I know who you are and I know what you can do. I know what you've done when you was at the state of Tennessee. But a lot of the people that matter don't know who you are. Some of the accomplishments that you made and some of the accomplishments that your father made. But at the same time, I'm talking about you. I know who you are, and I know what you can do. So at the same time maybe in your private time, you can work some things out. That's basically what's going on with matter. And I would definitely like to give me the information that I need to have, and I like to meet with you, and I like to meet with the whole group. And we need to find out basically what's going on. Because really, personally, I don't believe what the management matter is saying. I think they are doing all the things that what is being said. And I know that for a fact. Because your word is bond. I know who you are. I know what you stand for. But I wanted you to know that. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I happen to know quite a few members on the council, and I do appreciate you asking to speak with us one-on-one or personally as a group, because we do have a lot of ideas and a lot of suggestions that we can possibly offer. And we would be more than happy to get with you at another time. Thank you very much.
Lucille Catron.
Thank you, Council. Lucille Catron, 979 Grand, 38114, Executive Director of Beale Street Development Corporation. My comments is twofold. I was listening at the mayor, the new minority incubator. Well, BSDC, as of March, celebrated 45 years on Beale Street, and that was our mission and purpose: minority participation and empowerment, and creating business owners. We, in the past, we was the incubators, such as for CDA, and I think Mr. Cliff Dace was one of the largest security firms in the state of Tennessee. He was under our umbrella in our office, and so many more. I want to talk about Beale Street Development Corporation. It's the only African American organization in the state of Tennessee that calls such a major redevelopment, in which is Beale Street, that to this day generates $50 million each year because of our works. And yet no one seemed to think that we are wanting to be paid or think that we're qualified. But the businesses down there flourish from the works of BSDC. The lawyers today, it seems like that they say that the fake settlement agreement, but I have to disagree, because as of now, you can't get no loans. And that's FedEx Forum, that is Westin Hotel, and that's some of the prominent business on Beale. They can't get a loan to this day, right now, without Beale Street Development Corporation's signature. So I ask the council, I need your help in righting this wrong. That's all I ask, to right this wrong. It's time. Thank you.
Thank you. Same night minutes, Councilman Conrad.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. These are the minutes of items number 14, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42 of the regular meeting of the City Council for the City of Memphis for April 24, 2018. And I so move.
All right, it's been moved by Councilman Conrad, seconded by Vice Chair Colvett. Seeing no council members in the queue, please vote on our same night minutes.
Colvett, yes. Conrad, yes. Fully Love, yes. Jones, yes. Robinson, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
Item passes. All right, we'll adjourn.
By the skin of